Well, new developments tonight in the terror threat against a major cathedral in Germany. Officials have arrested another suspect, bringing the total number of those detained to 5. This in response to an alleged plot to attack the world-famous Cologne Cathedral on New Year's Eve.
Und ein Erfolg, wofür ich mich herzlich bei den Ermittlern bedanken möchte.
Officials uncovered the plot before Christmas. They say it involves Islamic extremists. Sunday Mass went on as planned, though handbags and purses were not allowed. The cathedral was closed to visitors and tourists. And for analysis, we turn now to AC Wimmer, the founding editor-in-chief for CNA Deutsch, who has been following the story for us. AC, great to be with you as always. First off, tell us a little bit more about this terror threat in Cologne, and how did authorities uncover it?
Thanks for having me, and Happy New Year to everyone. It's been quite the ride. Over the last few months, there's been warnings of terror threats in Europe. The German state, the Netherlands, Sweden, Belgium, a lot of countries have raised alert levels. But what we saw just ahead of Christmas in Germany and in Austria, I might add, with allegations of an alleged threat also for Madrid, was another escalation of that. A number of people were arrested, both in Austria and in Germany. And allegedly, media reporting, allegedly, these guys were planning to blow up the, very famous, world-famous cathedral in Cologne using a truck full of explosives. Police have been investigating behind the scenes, not just in Europe, but across the world, of course, internationally, not just in the wake of the Israel-Hamas war, but also with the resurgence of the Islamic State in Afghanistan and the alleged members of the group that were planning to destroy the Cologne Cathedral and perhaps the St. Stephen's Cathedral in Vienna were members of Islamic State Khorasan, Islamic State in Afghanistan.
Tell me, AC, what is the feeling over there? I mean, how are the faithful feeling? How is all this impacting them?
It's a fine balance, Tracy. On the one hand, I have very close family members living in Cologne. People are trying very hard to just continue celebrating Christmas. And the Interior Minister, Nancy Faeser, asked as much and said we would protect people as the German government to do so. But on the other hand, obviously, people are nervous. If you want to get into the cathedral, as thousands of people want to over the Christmas season and New Year's, because the Cologne Cathedral is in the middle of the city and an iconic building, they can't. It's been locked up. If you want to go to confession and attend Mass, you can at certain times. And that's quite unusual in a country where usually the churches are open and invite people to come in and hope to. So there is a nervousness in the air. There's a bit of vitriol and anger even, to be fair, I think, in the public sphere, not just in Germany or German-speaking Europe, but across Europe. It is palpable. People are afraid and some are angry about the threats and what's going on.
AC, what about going forward with the cathedral? Do we know anything about the schedule? Has it changed because of this?
Yes, there have been a number of changes made. At the same time as there are all these terror threats, there's also the first carnival masses planned, which is very important in Cologne. And people are still encouraged to attend, but they can't bring a plastic sword. They can't take a big bag. There are people, heavily armed security forces around the place or watching everything that's going on very closely. And that will continue in the coming days and weeks. The threat levels will remain high is, according to the experts, the likely scenario, as I mentioned, not just with a view to the ongoing conflict in Israel and the Gaza Strip, but also with a view to the resurgence of Islamist groups in Afghanistan and arguably also, of course, in Africa.
Before I let you go, AC, I do want to pivot here and ask you what other stories you're following right now regarding the church in Germany.
So the church in Germany, of course, is a lot of other issues on hand as well. They're dealing with the fallout of fiducia supplicans. There's a lot of discussion going on at the moment whether and how the blessings of same-sex couples can be implemented in the way that several German bishops and Austrian bishops have already announced, or whether the former Archbishop Cardinal Victor Manuel Fernandez, the prefect of the Dicastery of the Faith, will put the kibosh on that, will stop it. That's a huge debate that's ongoing at the moment.
All right, AC, thank you so much for coming on. Always appreciate it. God bless.
Thank you kindly. God bless.